Alright, hello guys. Today we're going to be talking about a snowstorm that should be quite finicky to forecast. There's going to be a lot of mixing issues with sleet and rain and everything. Before I get started with the video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather related content, and also like the video if you do like the video. Anyways, let's get right into it. We're looking at current radar right now, and you can see there's a lot of snow there down in Pennsylvania. You can barely see the state lines, I apologize for that. But that is Pennsylvania, where you see a lot of those dark blues. It's snowing pretty good right now over there. That should taper off and head north eventually. Maybe some of the western areas of Pennsylvania will hold on to snow a little bit longer and maybe pick up around an inch, but that'll eventually turn over to rain. And all that heavy precipitation to the south of there is all going to be heading north towards New England, so that's all of our precipitation that we have available. You see a lot of those yellows. That's crucial. We should be looking at some pretty heavy snow where it is snowing, and we're going to see that move on towards New England. One thing I wanted to show you is this is the 850 HPA temperature, which is kind of high up according to the NAM here. And you can see that a lot of that red lines are mixing line, and you can see that we have a lot of above freezing temperatures here into Vermont, New Hampshire, a lot of regions in Maine as well. This is where sleet's going to try to mix in where it is below freezing at the surface. Sleet's going to try to mix in and really taper those totals, and it's really hard to forecast this because they really fluctuate on where this line will be, and this is why this forecast is going to be one of the tougher ones that I make. It's really easy to forecast a snowstorm when everywhere is below freezing, and we know everywhere that gets precipitation will be snow. This one's just not one of those storms. A lot of mixing issues, and it's going to be really finicky to forecast this one. So we're going to look at our future radar here. I'm using the Canadian high resolution model. The Canadian model, the RGEM, is my favorite model, and this is kind of just a re-adaptation of that in a high resolution. So this is going to be my Futurecast model here for future radar. And we can see this is 15 hours in, so this is kind of heading into the afternoon, evening hours here. You can see those Catskills are getting some of that snow, and we're starting to get our snow in the Adirondacks and Green Mountains here. White Mountains maybe getting some flurries. And as we move on 2 hours, see the Adirondacks starting to change over to rain a little bit there, and really that heavier snow is, or sorry, the Catskills are starting to change over to rain, and then the Adirondacks are starting to get some snow there. And the Green Mountains also getting some pretty heavy snow, and you can see where it is rain, it's yellow, so we're probably looking at about 30 dBz there of snow and rain, which is pretty heavy if you don't know. And as you can see, we're moving on another hour. You can still see that the Adirondacks are still snow, and this looks to be the theme. They're going to have less of those mixing issues, which is going to lead to higher snowfall totals. Also, the Green Mountains are going to hold on a little bit longer than those low-lying areas. And I look for that river valley that goes through Vermont to really stay rain. There on that Vermont-New York border. They look to stay rain almost all of the time there. White Mountain's starting to get some heavy snow now. Again, Adirondacks and Green Mountains holding on to snow, but White Mountain's getting some of those purples in there. And as we continue to move on, you can see eventually some of the Adirondacks and Green Mountains are finally changing over to rain as the low pressure system gets closer and closer. And the White Mountains are holding on to snow, or trying, and we can see that heavier snow now moving into interior Maine, or the middle portions of Maine. And finally the Adirondacks barely holding on to some snow, and then the Green Mountains is just a mess there. Maybe some higher elevations still snow, but the low-lying areas are going to be rain at this point. This is 6Z Saturday, so this is late tonight. And we can see finally now we're seeing everywhere kind of change to rain there in the Adirondacks and the Green Mountains, and now White Mountains and Maine is taking over. You can see interior Maine getting very heavy snow at this point. And finally we're getting mixing in the White Mountains, so they're changed over to rain, and now Maine is taking over with the heaviest snow. Very heavy snow there for some areas. That's where the bullseye is going to be. That's also another tough thing about this forecast, is we don't really know where that heaviest snow is going to set up. We have an idea, but it could really change. You know, it could move, you know, several miles. It could change 20 miles and really change the snowfall totals here. So that's what makes this forecast so finicky. But we can see it's still snowing in Maine by maybe 9 a.m. tomorrow. So finally we move on. You can see those heavy lake effects there for the lakes. I'm going to be making a video on that shortly. We look to have some lake effect snow very soon there, so take note of that. And by 11 a.m. tomorrow, it looks like the snow will pretty much be over. So we're going to take a look at our snowfall total forecast here. according to direct weather. That's me. We're looking at 1 to 3 inches there for the Erie, Pennsylvania area, going a little bit southward. We're seeing some of that snow already in the central regions of Pennsylvania that aren't included in this forecast. I think I could have pulled that a little bit further east there, looking at current radar, so take note of that. That Pennsylvania could be a little bit snowier than it looks right there on my forecast map. I made that a little bit earlier this morning, so... Now, Buffalo also looking to get around maybe 1 to 3 inches, probably closer to that 1 inch mark. Adirondacks, you're looking at 3 to 6 inches, probably a lot of areas closer to that 6 inch mark, and maybe some high elevation areas getting 6 to 8 inches. But it was too small of an area to really put it on the map. But I just wanted to note that. And then you see that river valley there for the New York-Vermont border. You can see where that 1 to 3 goes all the way up, very, very, very far north. You can see where that's going to have a lot of mixing issues, barely any snowfall in there. And then your Green Mountains, you're looking at 1 to 3 inches, and then 3 to 6 really for most areas. And I think a lot of high elevation areas could get closer to 6. Now, a lot of low-lying areas in that lighter blue in Vermont also could get less than 3 inches, so it's really variable in there. So it could really, you could really say 1 to 6 inches in there, because the higher elevations will probably be very close to 6 inches, and low elevations will probably mix very, very early, so they'll be closer to probably around 2 inches, 1 to 2 inches. Now New Hampshire, pretty much same thing goes, except we have a little bit of an area of 6 to 10 inches there. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but we see down there in some of those regions kind of approaching Keene. You can see where that little white piece kind of extends down there. That's where we have some higher elevation, so the snow looks to hold on a little bit longer. And also the White Mountains northeastward, you're looking at 3 to 6 inches, and then some of those higher elevations as we get even closer to the White Mountain peaks, you're looking at 6 to 10, and I take that northeastward as well, extending into Maine and some of those very high elevations. So you're looking at kind of not a widespread 6 to 10, but kind of a spotty 6 to 10 in there, a lot of the higher elevations, and I think it'll really vary with some of those areas of heavier precipitation. So this is a very variable forecast, but I think you'll see a lot of scattered 6 to 10 in there, really close to 6 inches though. I don't think we'll see a lot of 10 inches. I think probably 6 to 8 is a safer bet, so on the lower range of that, but also a lot of areas will be under 6 inches in that 6 to 10 area, so it's really hard to say. And then for Maine, where you see south of those white areas, you're really not looking at a lot of snow. You could see some flakes, but you're looking at a lot of rain there. And then in those white areas, you're looking at really a short period of snow followed by a lot of rain, so a lot of your accumulations will be suppressed kind of. And then in those blue areas you have some mixing issues, but not as much as the white area. And then that darker blue area, you barely have any mixing issues. You'll have some sleet mixing in at times, I think, but you're looking at minimal mixing issues there, and that's why we're looking at the heavier snow totals there for sure. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this forecast video. I promised this to you guys yesterday, but I didn't end up making it yesterday, and I apologize for that, but I ended up making it today. If you're still watching the video at this point, I invite you to join our Facebook group called Weather Freaks. I'm going to leave a link in the comment section below. I'm going to pin that, and you can click that link and go ahead and join. We talk about all weather-related topics, models, forecasts, and all sorts of stuff. We already have around 400 members, so it's a very active group right now, and I would love for you to be a part of that. So again, click that link if you still are in the video. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.